Here we are. We're in our hammocks, laying all the way comfortably back. Let's take some good deep breaths. Let them flow in and out. Feel how the breath helps the body to come to a place of relaxation. Sometimes I'll add some counts to consciously help my body sink into that relaxation a little bit better. It gives my mind something to think about. So for a couple of rounds, let's allow the inhale to be spread out over 8 counts, and then the exhale over 8 counts. For some of us, that 8 might be a pretty quick amount, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But if you can spread it out just a little bit slower, try to experience lengthening the breath a bit further than normal. Notice how long that rhythm is. Notice if your inhale or your exhale tends to be quicker than that. It's like one of those two maybe have to stretch out quite a bit more than the other. Just notice, pay attention. Continue to allow the breaths to flow in and out at about this pace while we take a moment to connect with an intention. All around us, with weather change, days getting colder, less light around us, we start to notice differences happening within us as well, kind of like the bear turning to hibernation. And we notice changes around us. The leaves are changing and starting to get lost. The growth season has pretty much come to an end. So this is a time of year of a lot of release. A time that sometimes is sorrow, that season of the West, what they call it in shamanism. It's also symbolic of death and letting go of what no longer serves us. Now, sometimes we tend to be a little bit sad or even ungrounded, kind of unrooted, when we start to let go of things. It's like we start to question, what do I still have to hold on to? What earth will still keep me here in my spot? And so today I'd like us to ground into our roots, into our root chakra, so that even through the season of loss, we can still feel grounded, feel like earth, if nothing else, is holding us safely in her arms, helping us know that we always have something to not only energetically ground into, but also kind of receive that nurturing. So we'll do plenty of stretches for the legs, especially hamstrings, get lots of good length for that area. And that'll be what leads us into class. So let's begin waking up our body. Let the arms stretch all the way to the back wall. Once you're there, let the shoulders start to take some wiggles, going left and right. No sense of rush, kind of like that breath that we just took. Feel free to go nice and slow each side. The ribs, feel the shoulders. Maybe one more to each direction if it feels good. Beautiful. Coming back through the center, let's hug around right knee. I'll either make this about hip flexor or about the ankle, doing some circles with that foot. Give it a couple of breaths. When you feel happy there, start to extend this leg up to sky. Our first chance to get into the hamstrings. This is kind of the first major muscle group I think of when I'm working on my roots. How do those hamstrings feel at this moment? Don't worry, we'll have plenty of opportunities to stretch them. Good. Let's take one more huge breath in. With our exhale, take a pigeon pose. We're hooking right heel to back left side, the back part is by our ears. So hooking it, that swivels the foot toward the back door. Like a pigeon pose, slide the shin in to feel the hip open more. If you're confused at all, just peek at your neighbors. Another huge chest to breathe in. Long exhale. The leg releases. I'll sometimes give it a bonus tug up to the sky. And then drop it all the way back down. Beautiful. Second knee comes into chest. Give it a hug. This could be about ankle rolls, or it could be about those hip flexor muscles, pulling it in as much as you can. Just another good breath or so. And then leg starts to stretch up to sky. Grab on wherever you can reach, pull it in. It's like, hello, this leg. Sometimes left and right have very different stories to tell. So it's a moment to tune into the wisdom. What is this side trying to tell me? One more huge breath before the hip opener. Huge inhale of 8 if you can. Nice long exhale. And then hook heel. Left foot to back right. Slide the shin in if the hip has more space. Loving this chance to get into all those major muscle groups. Let another huge inhale flow in. Nice long exhale. Free out the leg, drop it down. Last step, legs wide as you tilt backwards, and then wrap the ankles. Once you've got the ankles wrapped, fingers are free to let go. Just feel the spine have this chance to drop. Like with any inversion, don't feel like you're in a competition with anybody for how long to stay. You're welcome to come up and readjust if the fabric wasn't quite right. You're also welcome to just come up if the head is like, nope, I think I'm good already. Nothing wrong with that. No rush if you do come out before others. There's a nice restorative pose where we hook our elbows, just lean the shoulders as far forward as we can, floating child. A nice chance to just let those back muscles go nice and long. This for how deeply internal we tend to go. Nothing else, I see people really listening inward. And it's like the thoughts start to slow down, not being quite so big of a deal anymore. About at that point where more than half of us have come out. So those that are still upside down, if you know this is where you need to be right now, great. You can always stay a bit longer in an inversion. You're heading out. Remember to take a couple of easy, slow breaths, giving the head time to flip the blood pressure around. Good. Let's take a nice little twist. Let's bunch up fabric toward the front door. You'll start to feel yourself twisting that back shoulder. So that's the arm, that back shoulder that's closer to the painted wall. That's the arm that stretches open. Feel that open up more muscles. You still want more. I'll circle that hand around the back side of the head. Use the grip to increase the twist to any degree. Have a good inhale. Beautiful exhale. And our nice release, we bunch up fabric to second side. Again, the shoulder closer to the painted mountain, that side opens or circles around the head. We can take another count of 8 here. 8 for the inhale. 8 for the exhale. Good. We're gonna grip the fabric that points us to center of room. So all closer to the back door side, switch. We'll get both hands on our fabric that points us to center. So switch sides, face this way. Lock the arm straight when you get there. The hip that just lifted, that's the leg that swings up and over. Good. Both heels come inside. And for where we're headed, we do want to be pretty centered in the fabric. So if you've got a lot more fabric to one side than the other, what you're gonna do is grip up high to the fabric in front of you. Set the feet in the right spot, but then when you lift your hips up, you'll be able to shift the more fabric to the side that needs the little bit excess. From there, pushing arms out into the fabric helps to allow legs to spread out nice and wide. Inhale. Nice long exhale. Good. So preparing to come to a standing position, we're lifting the knees up, sliding the heels in close to glutes, and popping the knees outside of the fabric. That little pop makes it easy to come to a toe squat. So grip up the fabric high in front of you. Swivel the toes underneath your body, knees pop out. Make sure your head and your shoulders are free. Good. You got it. Head, shoulders free. So now grip up high. Use the leg strength to rise all the way up. Keep the inner thigh slightly engaged. And then we're going to face to the mirror. So the shoulder that's closer to mirror comes around behind. And then try to get your hips to face forward even. This grip is a safe grip where you won't go too deep in the splits. As front leg goes forward, back leg goes back. If anybody wants to go deeper, you're welcome to readjust, gripping the front half on the inside, and then going deep. So it's up to you. That one takes more arm strength. Let's give it maybe 2 or 3 more breaths wherever you're at. We make them long and slow. And then lower to the back knee. Half split, hands slide forward, heart drops closer to the thigh. If the splits we did a moment ago wasn't enough, this leaning forward action definitely gets us right into that forward leg hamstring. Take another huge inhale. Nice exhale. Heart up. Take it to pigeon pose. This front knee swivels out to the side. Allow the front leg to go forward, back leg to go backward. If you stay inside, it's a bit of a back bend. That's nice to open up the heart. If you're freeing out one arm, let it be the arm that's over the front toes. Then that keeps the fabric across you like a seatbelt. Look how nice it is. When we're working on hamstrings, it's nice to also include a little bit through the hips as well. Super complementary areas. Another huge breath in, 8 counts. Long, slow exhale, 8. Rock our weight to the front hips, swivel the legs back open. Preparing to come to stand right away. If the toes are not inside, reset the toes. Slide the heels in close to glutes, knees pop out. Grip up high so you can swivel to the toe spot. When shoulders and head are free, grip high again, stand directly up. This time, shoulder to the back wall is the one that comes behind. We're facing hips to the back wall. Front leg goes forward, back leg goes backward, splits. You're resetting the grip. You're welcome to grip on the inside instead. Good. Let's do another huge count of 8. Exhale, 8. And lower the back knee down when you're ready. Half splits. The hands are welcome to stay attached to that front end of the fabric as you lean forward. One more breath here, 8 and 8. Swivel the front knee open to pigeon pose. Once it's there, send that front leg forward, back leg backward. And again, if you're freeing out an arm, it's the shoulder that's over the front toes. more huge breath. 8 in, 8 out. Working our weight to the front hips with little legs back open, wide straddle. Rest bottoms of feet together like a cobbler's pose. Feel yourself safely surrounded in this cocoon. Sometimes this moment of just safety, security is all it takes for our root chakra to feel much more comfortable. It's like we're returning back to the fetus time, back when everything was safe. There's no worries at all. Just continuing to let that little heart inside of us beat. Just relax here. 2 more of those cycles, 8 in, 8 out. Finish that last breath. Let's begin to allow both legs to come back out of the fabric. Fabric's back down to the knees. We're going to come into a huge hamstring stretch like a taco. So one hand, like a stop sign, push that to the space directly in front of your face. That helps you find the center. When you found that spot, your other hand helps that heel come up where your first hand is. Once you've got one foot up, it's pretty easy to take the second one right up next to the first. And then as much as your hamstrings have that space for, let them slide up straight-ish. You're welcome to lean backward or forward. Let yourself scan through the muscle groups in your body. As you find tight spots, see if you can relax those areas just a little bit more. If ever the rocking is too much, you can also spread out the fabric briefly, kick the heels into it. That usually will help it stop after a little while. Let's take 2 more of those breaths. 8 counts in, 8 counts out. Finish that second set sooner or later. Both feet fall off to the mirror front side. The hips are off center at first. So just help to shift from left to right until you're facing all the way forward. Good. We're going to use vampire pose to help us experience a plow pose that not only stretches hamstrings, but also the back muscles really well. So in case anybody needs a review for vampire, we take the back part of the fabric and we've got one good thin layer of fabric completely covering shoulders. You don't want too much excess or it pushes into the neck. So it's enough to cover it like a cap sleeve. Grip a little closer to the shoulders and that'll help you set up chicken wings. Yeah, so grip closer to shoulders, and you're gripping out wide right now. Grip closer to shoulders. And then you can pull it like a cap sleeve right over the shoulder caps. Good. So then use chicken wings to help push excess fabric to your waist. You do still want to completely cover shoulders, but the excess is now at my waist. So then, as I've laid back, I step my heels in, and I try to start shifting the excess down to my feet. So I lift the hips up, and then I straighten the legs. Usually just once or twice of that will take all the excess down, but sometimes it takes a couple more. Good. Keep going until you feel all that excess down. We do need the excess for plow pose to come up over our shins. So it's like a little blanket. All that stuff that's by your feet, pull it up your shins. Double check that you do have enough covering over your shoulders. So it's a good safe amount, and then hands come up left and right. Our feet pike up. Push them out into the fabric. That push from the inside out will help to give you a chance to rise upside down. Good. So from here, start to try to balance, toes touching together. From here, hips go behind you, toes drop down in front of you. This is plow pose. The moment when your feet can't go any further, it's a safe spot. Sometimes it takes trust the first couple of times. You guys are doing awesome. I'm happy to come rescue if you need it. If your head also gets too much pressure, roll back out to a little mini shavasana. Nothing wrong with that. Walking your toes a little further. Go. It's okay, they can be done. There's a moment, see how the feet grab it. That's the thing. You're welcome. You're welcome. I know, it's like until you find that, you're like, what are we doing? Good. Beautiful. So we're gonna take it from here into a splits position. So if you've got a ton of fabric going past your knees to thighs, use your toes to scoot a little bit down so that you can drop one foot. Let's start with right foot down to the ground. You got it? Good, good, good. Right foot to floor. Again, if it's the first time, it feels kind of scary, but yeah, you got it. Right foot to floor. When right foot is down, try to sink your weight to the back wall. That opens us up to splits. If you want a deeper stretch, the foot on the floor hops forward a little bit. Good. Weight sinking back. Let's go one more breath through this side. Huge count of 8. Nice exhale. Good. Let's see if we can transition kind of like through that plow pose. So lift your hips up a little bit and then step the right foot back into the little pocket. Once you've got the right foot in, work the left foot to the floor. Yep, your toes can do little tiny steps if the fabric's not shifted quite right. Good, left foot to floor eventually. If you need more, hop it forward on the floor. And once you've got it set up in a good spot, sink your weight backwards. Yep. As you notice, it's also safe to roll all the way out, get your feet adjusted, and then come back in. That's also always an option. I can help, no worries. I know it happens. You're welcome. Good. So some people just got into it, so try to stay about equal time as the other side. If you've been here, if you kind of follow the steps with me, you're about on your last breath. So huge inhale. Nice exhale. And then you can either go back to plow pose, back up to vampire, or just roll all the way back into shavasana. You've got kind of 3 places to take it from. One more turn. So I did too much work today already. If you're in the shavasana, go ahead and take some excess fabric to your head so you can rest it. No rush for those that are in the other shapes. If anybody's rocking more than you want to, this is an easy point. I'm already out. I can easily stop you from rocking, so just let me know. Good. Good. Looks like we've got the majority in the Shavasana shape. If you're not in it, that's okay. Take your last couple of breaths and then head out. Those that are in Shavasana, what you're doing is listening to your body, giving you check marks, like your systems are all a go. When you reach that point that you're like, yeah, I would be safe to move on from here, at that point, you'll help me know by sitting up, taking the feet back out the front, but it's not a question of trying to rush you into it. Floating child is fine until we all get here. So from this resting spot, let's take another huge breath. Inhale 8. Exhale 8. Good. Sitting up, grip left and right sides, lift the hips up and out. We're standing. Take the fabric out in front of you. We're gonna grip on about as wide as shoulders. Upper body goes forward. Hips go backward. And let your hips have a couple wiggling, wagging movements. So as hips go a little bit to the right, the shoulders go to the right. Hips go a little bit to the left, shoulders go to the left. Just a chance to have a gentle opening for the side body. Good. Then flattening back out in front of us. Start to shift the left foot directly under the body weight. Right foot kicks back. Long line, warrior 3. From here, bend the knee, foot goes over the knee. We're gonna pump up and down 10 times, working through the glutes a little bit. So here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work, straighten back out. And then step the right foot to the ground in front of the left foot. Slide the left foot back another foot or so. Leaning forward, it's pyramid. We're gonna rotate on our heels. The toes point to the long edge of the backward side. To face back forward. Right elbow points to the ground. The left arm long. And then start to sway the left arm over toward the front door side. Good. Straighten both arms forward. Press into the fabric to lift the torso up. Readjust both feet underneath us. The hands need to shake for a second. Head. Good. Grip back on about as wide as shoulders. Move forward. Take the right foot underneath your body. Left foot straight back, like an arrow. This one's the warrior 3 balance. Good. The foot goes above the knee, up and down. There's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flatten back out. And as you swing that left foot down, step it in front of the right. Slide the right foot back another foot. Lean directly forward into it, pyramid. Try to keep the front leg straight. That's the image. Good. The toes start to turn to the long right edge. Right angle forward fold. it back forward. Left elbow points down to ground. This right straight arm starts to sway over to back door. Good. Straighten both arms back forward. Soften the knees. Roll the spine up. Good. Stepping both feet together. We're going to take it to downward facing dog and then to standing split. So sometimes I'll come up to tippy toes as I bring the fabric right across my hip bones. And then I'm trying to take the slack out of the fabric. So forward will help me lean forward into it. From there, I'm free to drop my hands out off to the floor. And then it's a couple of steps backwards to be in the B shape of downward facing dog. Good. Yep. Just one more little step, Robin. You got it. Okay, so now right leg swings wide into the right, like dog at a fire hydrant. Bend the knee. Try to catch the toes on the outside of the fabric. Good. Yep. Yep, you can absolutely do a little hop. You're on the inside though. Right there. Up this back. Up down. You're welcome. The toes wrapped around the fabric. Try to press it upward, straight. I'll try to drop this foot to ground. Good. If you want more, bottom foot hops forward and or hands walk backwards. Okay. I know it's kind of shaky. You're doing awesome. You like that? That shows you're right at the edge of your stretch. All right, let's take one more breath. 8 in, 8 out for this one. Good. Slowly let that foot that's in the fabric start to return down to glute. Soft release down. If you stepped forward, by the way, step back to down dog, the V shape. Good. Left leg wide like dog at a fire hydrant. Bend the knee, try to catch on the outside. That's it. Whoops. Yeah. Yep, you got it. Both of you guys got it. Good. So if the bottom foot lifted, try to return it to floor. And then the top foot can start to straighten up. Good. Maybe hands walk backwards or foot hops forward. It's only based on your flexibility today. I love it because it's up to how much you can press yourself into it. Jennifer, you're already in it for a bit, but you're actually wrapped around the inside, just so you have that awareness. Okay. Yeah. Good. Another huge inhale. Nice exhale. Slowly let it release. If anybody wants a little bit longer in hip hang, that's fine. If you're about ready to head out for your head, that's also fine. Slowly bring the hands and feet closer together so you can roll up. And take stargazer. So fabric tuck behind us, lean the head back. Good. Looks like, just so you guys know, looks like the majority came out, so so nothing wrong with that. Just if you're hanging upside down, just know it's your choice too. Let the head be supported here. Sometimes the feet go about as wide as that, so you can sway. One knee bends and then sway the elbows. You can switch. Just like before, this is another chance where it's not a goal to rush out of inversions. That sometimes leads to more nausea, dizziness, etc. But it's that idea to just give your body a chance to rest. So sometimes that means you're going to stay here like 3 minutes and the rest of us maybe move on, but you're listening to your body. That's okay. When sooner or later you reach that point where you're like, yeah, I can stand, I'm safe, I'm good. At that point, start to walk your feet back until you're standing up on your own. Awesome, no rush. Good, let's flip fabric out in front of us. We're gonna take right ankle inside. Right hand grabs either strand for safety or hands at heart for balance, your choice. Make sure you're not standing too far behind plumb line, by the way. When you gaze up, it's like 3 inches behind. Good. What we're gonna try to do, and we're gonna try to stick at the same rate. It'll look like this. This right leg goes wide and then back across as much as it'll cross over the body. So I'm gonna do a countdown of 5. We're gonna go in a count of 3, 2, 1. Here's 5 and across. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Both hands come onto the fabric. I'm going to give you 2 options. Option 1 is the easy one. Just slide your hands down. This is nice because it takes heart to the thigh. Option 2 challenges balance quite a bit. So with that one, you're actually going to have to grip up higher. You're going to use the fabric to help you slide forward on your mat. What that does is lift your leg up a lot higher. The balance is a lot harder though. So from here, just feel it lift. Try to get both legs forward straight as much as you can. If balance starts to go, by the way, grip high. That'll be much safer than gripping low. Good. Beautiful. Another huge inhale. Nice exhale. Grip up high to slide back. And I'll take a pigeon pose again. Swivel the knee out to the side. This one I like to have hands about shoulder height, maybe even head through, and then sink as much weight forward as wants to go. If the knee has any issues, send the hips a little bit more backwards. That'll help protect the knee. Good. Breath in. Exhale. Rising back up. Straighten the leg back out, slipping it to ankle if it slid up. We're going to take the swinging switch or just switch your legs. So swinging switch, the legs stay straight. Second foot steps in, first out. Make sure you're only about 3 or so inches behind plumb line. You're either gripping on with left hand or balancing with none. We're going to do our count of 5 with the leg. So we're starting in 3, 2, 1, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Your first option would be just slide down, easier one. Second option, slide up so that your bottom foot can scoot forward. Find that balance point is the leg is just lifted super, super high. Good. Remember, if you start to lose balance, grip high. That'll be what saves you. Huge breath cycles. Take another count of 8. And out. Good. Grip high to slide back under plumb line. Swivel the knee, pigeon. Grip is about shoulder height, maybe head goes through, and then sinking hips forward. If you want more of a back bend, sliding up to arch back is also a possibility here. Good. Set the hips in a place that feels useful, not too much for the knee, not too little. Sometimes I like to play around with all the options so I can feel kind of how it affects my body, and then I can choose the best spot. Let's take another huge breath. Count of 8 in, 8 out. Weight of hips over the standing leg. This time the leg can just slip out. Come around so you're back at the front of your mat. I'm looking at your fabric. You're gonna find the front end, wave it out as if you're about to go inside. Okay, when you face back forward, yeah, take all the time to wave it so you know for sure. Good. When you're facing back forward, we're not heading much into it. We're only taking like 1 or 2 grips, just enough to cover up to our thighs. So when you've got about that much, head up to tippy toes, slide your glutes in. It should be just enough to cover up thighs. Good. So once you're here, this fabric that's behind you, we're gonna swing it around to our right side. Good. You're gonna find the front part of that part of the fabric. What you're gonna do is slip both heels inside of that part of the fabric. Good. This turns it into a nice forward fold. Let the arms be free, just dangling down. Feel both legs getting the chance to stretch together. So often we stretch one leg at a time. It's really nice to have stretches like this that calibrate both together. So give it a couple more breaths. More huge inhale. Nice exhale. So now the fabric that's in front of you, leave the right foot. Left foot needs to come to the fabric that's currently under our thighs. So slip that left foot back. Got 1 foot in front, 1 foot tucked under our thighs. From here, our idea is to come back up to standing, kind of like we did earlier. So similar to earlier, we need to bend our knees, pivoting the knees free of the fabric. Good. So when the knees are bent, heels close to the glutes, reach both hands up really high, and then come to that toe squat where the knees are popped out. We're balancing on the toes. Yeah, keep on shifting if it doesn't feel like your knees are free. Good, good. Once you're at the toe squat, hands grip up high again. And then using the strength of the legs, we come all the way up. Keep one hand on the left side, one hand on the right side. You're gonna face your hips to your right toes rather than forward. So we're not opening to the side, we're closing the right hip off from the mirror. You shouldn't be able to see it. And then take a split from here. This one is based on leg strength and arm strength. So listen to your body. If you're feeling weak, squeeze everything back together. Good. Rosemary, switch your back hand to be on the other. Yep, that's it. Good. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, squeezing our thighs together. Your right foot is gonna shake free of the fabric. Step where your left foot is. And then slowly lower yourself down, popping the toes out. We're back down to start. Good. If you ended up with way too much, you can come out of the front end and just get enough to barely cover thighs again. We'll end up with the fabric on the left. All that stuff that was behind us, swing it to the left. And then both heels into the front tube. Taking another couple of breaths whenever you get there for that forward fold. This gives us a chance to recalibrate, kind of reset. Both legs stretching together. One more count of 8 in. And out. Left foot stays in the front tube. Right foot's the one that comes under where our thighs are. Do our preps for standing. So knees need to bend, the heels slide in close to glutes. Once you've got that prep, grip up high, come to the toe squat, knees pop out. From the toe squat, grip high again, and then use leg strength to raise all the way up. Try not to get head captured. Good. From the front side, so elbows pointing forward, regrip left and right. Good. Face your hips to your left foot, and then start to sink into the splits there. You're trying to hide your left hip from the mirror. Good. Up to you to know if it's time to come up, but let's try to go one more huge breath in. Out. Good work. Squeezing our thighs together. Your right foot's your dominant one here, so shake the left foot free. Stepping both in where the right is. And this time we're preparing to go all the way back to Shavasana. So instead of sitting toward the front end, this time sit all the way as far back as you can. Just get that fabric ready to lay back. Knowing that you always have liberty to take a different Shavasana if you want, a Shavasana on the ground, back to that cobbler pose if you like. Anything that feels good. And if anybody's rocking the wrong amount, you want to rock more, you want to rock less, you can kind of wiggle your toes at me until I come by. Good. Let that slow breath lead you into this restful state, this state of integration for the Shavasana. So at least a couple of breaths. Try to consciously return and literally let yourself count. This is helping us to kind of build almost like a muscle memory for our brain. Counting 8 slow counts for inhale. 8 slow for the exhale. Just let that seed lead us through. Sinking deeper and deeper as each cycle completes. Begin to deepen the inhales. Deepen the exhales. To introduce movements to the body. Sometimes this is just fingers and toes at first. Sometimes I'll start to stretch the arms all the way to the back wall. Take those movements, wiggling shoulders left and right. Sometimes I know I really, really want to take a fetal position. So keeping the body long, I roll over onto one side body, one hip stacked on top of the other hip. And from there, I can curl in like a tight little ball and arc the spine all the way back. Exploring that a couple of times, maybe 3 or 4 to one side. Perhaps eventually switching 3 or 4 to the other side. Just keeping the spine in good balance. Your body feels about ready to come to a comfortable seated place. And start to make our journey up sooner or later. No necessarily sense of rush, just eventually coming back. Come together at the heart. We bring ourselves full circle with our thought. Feeling how much we open up those hamstrings, those legs. We allow ourselves to think of those roots being strengthened. No matter what we lose from the leaf standpoint, we recognize nothing was lost from our roots. We're still safe. We're secure. Everything will be taken care of for us. We can trust that the universe is on our side. So with this thought to help lead us on, let's wrap up the time we got to share together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.
Namaste.